Hello everyone, welcome to Proper Health. In this video, I'd like to help you gain an understanding of how your body responds to stress and how stress is directly related to the growth of cancer. I'll give an overview of the physiology behind stress so you can better understand why it's important to minimize stress as much as you can. Stress begins in the brain when an external or internal threat occurs and we perceive danger. It could be a car accident, an animal attack, an argument with another person, or internal, like thoughts about a devastating diagnosis at the doctor's office. Sudden or acute danger triggers a stress response that happens very quickly. A cascade of hormones begins with the amygdala, part of the brain involving emotion and memory. This is why emotionally charged events stay in our memory for so long. The amygdala sounds the alarm, signaling the hypothalamus to release a chemical messenger to the adrenal glands, telling them to release epinephrine and norepinephrine. Our heart rate increases rapidly, our breathing rate increases, we become more alert, and our vision improves in dim light. When the threat goes away, our nervous system calms back to normal. If the threat doesn't go away, a secondary cascade of chemical events are triggered, called the HPA axis. The hypothalamus releases CRH. The CRH alerts the pituitary gland to release ACTH. Then the ACTH signals the adrenal glands to release corticosteroids, which is a group of hormones. The adrenal glands are the triangular-shaped glands on top of the kidneys. The cortex part of the adrenal gland produces corticosteroids. The one we'll talk about is cortisol, which is the main stress hormone. The cortisol is released, then asks the liver to release its stored glucose, or sugar, into the bloodstream. This will provide fuel to the brain and muscles to either fight or run away from the perceived danger. So now the liver is releasing glucose into the bloodstream. Also in the presence of cortisol, the pancreas switches from removing sugar or glucose from the blood to increasing sugar in the blood by producing and releasing glucagon. Glucagon signals the liver and muscle cells to convert stored glycogen back into glucose. The glucose is then released into the bloodstream to be used as energy by other cells. Glucagon is the opposite of insulin. When we're not in stress mode or if blood sugar spikes too high, insulin increases and removes sugar from our blood by shuttling sugar into our cells. This feedback loop is in constant motion to ensure our cells have a steady supply of energy. During stress, all of these organs contribute to increasing sugar availability in the blood to use for fuel. This burst of available fuel allows us to fight or flee. It's meant to be short-term and is very useful when we need it. Depending on the level of stress, it can help us focus and concentrate when we have a big exam or give us the strength to move quickly or put up a fight. At this time, the body is not storing fuel in the muscle and liver as it does during the rest and digest mode of the autonomic nervous system. Instead, it is spending its stores. If we don't have enough stored glucose available, the liver can make glucose from protein or fat. So it is not uncommon to feel fatigue during and after stress. When cortisol is elevated, other systems of the body that are considered non-essential to survival are suppressed. During stress, our reproductive system is non-essential and delayed, and our digestive system is put on hold. This is why we shouldn't eat while we're driving a vehicle or when we're upset in any way. Also suppressed is our immune system. When cortisol is up, our immune response is down. This lack of immune response could help cancer stem cells go undetected. With our immune system not able to keep things in check, infections such as cold, flu, and coronaviruses can easily take hold. Chronic stress in the presence of cortisol suppresses our T cells, or immune cells. All healing is put on hold, including bone formation, and wound healing may take much longer. This means that prolonged stress creates an imbalance and sets up the immune system to be overwhelmed. This imbalance is known to lead to insulin resistance and other metabolic conditions. I'd like to take a moment to mention that cortisol isn't a bad hormone. We depend on it for so many things. It plays an important role in our sleep cycle by waking us up in the morning. Cortisol also regulates blood pressure, our blood sugar, and helps control our body's use of fats and protein. So we never want to eliminate cortisol. It is one part of our homeostasis, a kind of a balancing act among all our systems. The key takeaway is to minimize chronic stress and keep the immune response strong. A prolonged, suppressed immune system leaves us vulnerable to chronic inflammation. Inflammation can be triggered by viruses, bacterial infections, processed foods, toxins from smoking or air pollution, and overexercising. Inflammation can be further driven by lack of sleep, which is one of the side effects of stress. Inflammation is particularly damaging to tissues of the body. Think of someone that has hardening of the arteries, for example. When inflammation is chronic in the arteries, the immune system tries to wall off the irritant, so it builds a plaque composed of fats, calcium, cell fragments, and cholesterol. The walling off presents another health issue when the arteries become narrow and rigid. When cancer cells are present, the cells tend to set up camp in tissue that is damaged. That means cancer is drawn to areas of inflammation. To summarize, chronic stress increases the stress hormone cortisol, and when cortisol is present, it suppresses the immune system. An unguarded immune system leaves us vulnerable to viruses, bacteria, and toxins. When the immune system is lowered, chronic inflammation moves in and takes hold. Over time, inflamed tissue gets damaged, and damaged cells are where cancer sets up camp. Further, when cancer becomes established with a blood supply, elevated blood sugar from stress feeds cancer. More on that in part 2. So let's work on easing stress. One of the quickest ways to reset and bring your stress level down is to take a few slow, deep breaths. Breathing slowly and deeply has immediate benefits. You may feel lighter after the first breath. Inhale slowly through your nose. Visualize your lungs expanding. Exhale through your mouth slowly and visualize your lungs relaxing. Drop your shoulders. Make your arms heavy. Loosen your lower jaw. Then do a few more. Breathing clears your mind. It delivers more oxygen to your muscles, especially the smooth muscles surrounding your lungs. It even strengthens your immune system. I like to carry a small bottle of peppermint essential oil with me. I just remove the cap and inhale. It helps me remove myself from a stressful moment and encourages deep breaths. I'll talk more about other ways to de-stress in upcoming videos. For now, this is an excellent way to lower stress anywhere, anytime. Okay, guys, this was a condensed overview of the stress response. Sometimes stress seems like an intangible force. As they used to tell us, it's all in your head. But we now know just how physical it really is and the harm it can bring. Watch this video several times. It will help you understand the importance of stress management. Okay, we'll see you next time.